Hello and welcome to the Essence Shown podcast. Thanks for being here. I'm your host, Olivia Heine, NLP and Sacred Success Coach. And today we are diving into a very special and now not so secret anymore framework that I call the cycle of success. I'm going to be telling you exactly why you need to be looking at your success in terms of a cyclical perspective, what this cycle actually looks like, the cheat sheet, need to know breakdown, and giving you that beginner's guide so that you can start implementing the cycle of success in your own life, for your own goals, in your career, and in your business. Welcome back to the show where we talk about revolutionizing your work in order to create more sacred success that actually feels really good to your body, to your nervous system, to your soul, that deep sense of fulfillment that I know you're searching for. That's why you want the big goals. That's why you're out here potentially hustling for the things that you are working so hard to create in your life. And I'm here to tell you that there is a better way to be doing that. We do not need to be sacrificing our well-being emotionally, mentally, physically for the success that you desire. There is actually a holistic way that you can start working right away that works with your body as opposed to against it so that you can create success that is actually sustainable, that doesn't start to crumble when things get rough, that gives you a really solid foundation that you can flow within. And that is really my mission. That's our mission here at Flow. And what we're going to be diving into today is a literal framework that I teach inside my courses. I teach this inside my one-on-one coaching, specifically inside Cyclical Ascension, which is one of my one-of-a-kind mini courses. But this is the first time that I'm going to be sharing it outwardly just to the general public. So if you're new to cycle syncing, if you have no idea what it is, but you're just like, I need a better way to be working. I'm done with this hustling. I'm done with this burnout. I'm done with this pressure to always do more. Like I'm feeling fucking exhausted. You are in the right place. If you are familiar with cycle syncing or you're like, oh, I know this, I'm going to invite you to not click away just yet because I'm going to be teaching you and showing you something that is not your standard cycle syncing approach. So you're going to want to stay tuned for this. So what I've created over the years of working and starting to heal my own burnout, my way of working, the way that I was working, healing my conditioning around work and success, is that I really shifted into a cyclical way of living and then a cyclical way of working. And that is the basis of cycle syncing, which we see a lot these days. But then I started to hone in on actually how can we start using this scientific knowledge, this biological framework of how our hormone levels flow and fluctuate throughout the month, throughout our lives, and actually taking that into how are we working. So not just how am I moving through my life, because a lot of cycle syncing is like, how are we eating? How are we working out? How are we sleeping? How are we managing energy levels? And that's all really important. But I want to take all of that and infuse that into your goal setting, infuse that into your business, infuse that into the career goals that you have or the way that you're climbing potentially the corporate ladder or the dream job that you want to create. All of the goals and all of the success that you want to create in your life really boils down to a feeling. You think you're going to feel a certain way when you reach that goal. And that is the biggest misconception, because when we're pushing and forcing and creating so much stress around creating a goal, most of the time that's when we experience a lot of stress and overwhelm at the actual outcome of that goal. And so by shifting into this cyclical way of working and actually supporting your body in the process, supporting your well-being in the process, feeling good in the process of achieving the goal, that's when you actually have a foundation for sustaining that goal at the end and being able to sustain, or rather expand on, the success that you've created. So the cycle of success is my framework that I teach on this then. And what this really hones in on is that success and the way that we create is based on a cyclical process. And the problem with this is that society teaches us to work in a very linear way. And that looks like the 9-to-5 structure that we feel. So if you're someone, especially as a woman with a womb, and you're feeling like, hey, the 9-to-5 feels really stressful for me. Like I have days where I'm on and it feels great and I'm productive. And then I have days where I like just don't want to get out of bed. I'm feeling really overwhelmed with work. I don't have the energy. I don't feel motivated. The ideas aren't flowing. I'm not as on in my communication. I feel like I can't express myself the way that I want to. This is totally normal. And I have so many clients who've come to me and they're like, I feel like a fraud. I feel like a failure. Like I'm on one day and I'm not the next. And there's this pressure to be on all the time, to be productive all the time. And that's where we have to start to look at, okay, what is the structure that we're following and who was it actually made for? And when we look at that, the male hormone system or cycle actually goes in a 24-hour cycle. So of course, if we're waking up every day with the male hormone cycle and we're like, okay, I'm ready to go, like I did yesterday and like I did the day before that and like I will tomorrow, of course, we're going to feel like we can be on and productive all the time. As women, we are meant to work differently. And just because the standard structure up until this point hasn't supported that or encouraged that doesn't mean it's not possible. And that is really what we're here to do and revolutionize together. So this cyclical approach, this cycle of success, or I also sometimes call it the cycle of creation, is actually how you're meant to be showing up. It is not just how you're meant to be showing up on a day-to-day basis, but actually how you're meant to be showing up for a project so that you move yourself through to this project to completion. And like I said before, actually sustain the end result that you create, actually give yourself the capacity and potential to build upon what you've created and expand on it, not just get to the end and be like, okay, I did it, but now I'm so exhausted and now I'm going to like let the ball drop on it, right? And sometimes we feel that way and that's normal and that's okay, but this is what this starts to shift for us. So being able to achieve sustainable success and also optimize your productivity in the process really comes down to understanding how your body works so that you can work with your body as opposed to against it. So much of the strategies that we're taught around success, and I've been there, I've been like going after all of the time management strategies and productivity hacks and wanting to implement them and wanting to be more productive and be better and create bigger results. If we are not taking our body into consideration in that process, we are doing ourselves a great disservice. And we're also really preventing and blocking ourselves from creating the results that we want. So the cycle of success is a 4-part process that incorporates the body into how you're working, taking into consideration your hormonal fluctuations throughout the month and allowing you to approach your success from this cyclical perspective where things get to flow, where we release this pressure of needing to be on all the time, where we release these extremely high and unrealistic expectations of what we're creating and how it needs to happen, and really allow ourselves to come back to, again, like I said, bringing the body in first so that you enjoy the process. Okay. So I'm going to walk you through the breakdown, the beginner's guide of the cycle of success. Okay. And what this looks like is following 4 main phases. And like I said, these 4 main phases align with the 4 phases of your hormonal cycle throughout the month. So your womb cycle. They also align with the 4 phases of the moon cycle and the 4 seasonal phases. So what I want to just hone in on here is that these phases are not something that I just pulled out of a hat. These are literally based on the cyclical nature within you and around you. And I have a few more episodes that dive into this in deeper depths so that you can understand this better. And I'll link those here. So the cycle of success, also known as the cycle of creation, follow these 4 main phases. And this cycle of success is a core framework of the O-Flow framework, which is, like I said, what I teach in my courses and in my one-on-one coaching. And what we're doing with this is applying it to your actual goal. So looking at your current career goal, looking at your current business goal, what is it that you are wanting to execute on? What is it that you are wanting to create? So this is a specific and quantifiable goal, okay? And the 4 phases go as follows. We have phase number 1, which is innovation. Phase number 2 is called illumination. Phase number 3 is culmination, and phase number 4 is regeneration. So what happens a lot in society, and when we look at what goal creating structures were given or time management structures were given by, external frameworks, they really focus on the planning part and on the execution part, which super important parts. But if we're only focusing on those 2 parts, then we're really only getting 2 parts of the 4 phases. And what we really want to do with this cyclical approach is complete the entire cycle. So innovation is really you getting started, you're planning, you're brainstorming, you're initiating what you want to create. Then we have illumination, where you're launching, you're executing, you're getting your ideas out there, you're promoting it. Like I said, you're launching the business, the course, you're going to the job interviews, you're doing the presentations. Then we have culmination, which is where you are wrapping things up, adjusting based on what you've now learned, reflecting. It is really this like coming together editing point, And we want to start bringing that into your creation process, because everything that you desire comes with a lesson. It comes with an opportunity for inner expansion and inner growth. And when we're only focused on the external result and not also looking at the internal shift that is happening, and it is always happening, that's when we miss out on the actual reason why our soul wants to achieve this goal, why we want to go through this challenging process of creating something new. And that is that inner growth experience. So that's what culmination does. Then we have regeneration, which is the fourth and final phase. And again, this is the one that is most disregarded by society when it comes to work. And those come with narratives around being lazy. It's lazy to rest. Rest is a reward you get at the end. All of those belief systems that make us feel bad or guilty for slowing down or pausing or not doing more, those are going to come up in this fourth phase. But this fourth phase is what allows you to basically recharge your battery so that you can step into either the next phase of the same goal, or that you can step into the next goal that you're wanting to create. So if you're someone who achieves a goal and immediately jumps into the next one, this is going to be a really important phase for you. But like I said, it is the most disregarded phase by society. So most of us are missing out on this magic that comes up in this phase. So like I said before, you might be doing parts of these phases like the planning and initiating. And if you're anything like how I was, I love to plan. I love to feel in control. I love to be micromanaging everything. And that's just not how we tap into flow. That's not how we tap into expanded success that's greater than what you can possibly imagine for yourself right now. And so looking at this cycle of success and actually incorporating all four phases is going to be so key to actually elevating the results that you're getting and getting more clarity in what it is that you're actually wanting to execute on. So over the next 4 weeks, episode by episode, I'm going to be breaking down each of these four phases in much more depth. Still, it's going to be a more of a general overview because there's just so much that goes into this and so much more that I dive into in my courses, specifically inside Cyclical Ascension. So if you're looking to activate this now, you don't want to wait for the next 4 to 5 weeks to get all of this content and start activating and executing on it. And you actually want all of it so you can really dive into what you're doing and start right away. I invite you to check out Cyclical Ascension. The link to that course is in the description below. It is a mini course, so it is not a huge investment, and it's going to get you started exactly with what you need to know to set up the structure in your own life right away. So I highly recommend going to check that out. The other place where you can join me is for the only free event that I do, which is the monthly cyclical flow planning workshop, where you actually come and we sit down together and plan your upcoming month based on your goals, based on the cycle of success. Again, more service level, you're getting time to actually plan and execute with a little bit of my support. So those are kind of the two options where you can start diving into this in more detail and more depth. And like I said, I'm going to be going over this step by step, phase by phase in the next couple episodes. This is going to be the way that you execute more productivity, more efficiency in your daily life, how you understand and learn how to manage your energy levels so that you have more energy, and so that that gives you more time and spaciousness in your schedule. Because ultimately, my belief and my mission is to not just help you create more success, which obviously, like, you want the money, you want the clients, you want the business, you want the career. I get that. And I'm so here to support you in that. But more than that, I want you to create the life that comes with those successes, right? I want you to feel the freedom that you have in your time now, where you can make your schedule based on how you're feeling, that you can live based on your energy levels, that you can really tune into that intuitive guidance so that, yes, you're creating this success and you're also living this beautiful, fulfilling life at the same time. And that's where I like to focus and base it all in this feeling of freedom, because you're here to experience that freedom, right? So that was the cycle of success, or like I said, also known as the cycle of creation. If you want to learn more, all the links are in the description. Let me know in the comments how this resonated with you. What was your biggest takeaway? Has this been something elevated to what you heard about before, especially if you're already familiar with cycle syncing? And if not, let me know as well. I'm so curious to hear how you're going to execute on this, what goal you're going to try this out with. And please remember to like, subscribe, leave a rating and review if you're listening to this on a podcast app. And I will see you back here next week as we continue to break down the cycle of success.